got an exciting video for you today. In this video, I'm going to give you a complete overview of the new MMT polarity indicator, which has two different kinds of signals based on imbalances in the order flow footprint charts, while having the added benefit of printing these imbalance signals directly onto your regular candlestick charts. I'm going to show you this indicator in action, in real time, in combination with the MMT chart trader, so you can trade these stacked imbalances automatically right when they're happening, intrabar, or these washout signals. So I will show you some examples of this working in action towards the end of the video. Right now I'm going to do a little overview and show you some of the settings that are available. I've got a couple of different signals that are measuring different kinds of imbalances. I've built into the indicator a compact footprint chart that works behind the scenes, looking for these imbalances, and then it prints these signals directly on your regular candlestick charts. These orange arrows are washout signals, and these red and green arrows are stacked imbalance signals. I've got it set to calculate on the price change. So when I've got that setting, there's going to be a lot more signals. If I have it calculate on bar close, I will not get as many signals. It will wait till the bar closes to print an imbalance signal or a washout signal. My personal preference is to leave it on calculating on price change. I like seeing the washout signals and the imbalances as they are happening. If I start to get an imbalance to the downside, and then we get some stacked imbalances coming to the upside, the arrow will switch from red to green. It only shows the most recent stacked imbalances for the candle. And then there's an option to print the number for the stacked imbalances. You can turn this feature on or off. I like to leave this feature on so I can see when we've got a stronger signal. Here I've got a 5 on the washout. We get a nice pop up there. So just to be very clear, this is the MMT polarity indicator on a naked chart. This is what the MMT polarity indicator is printing. It's printing these orange washout signals and these green and red stacked imbalance signals, along with the number showing the amount of imbalances. That is all that the MMT polarity is showing on the chart. However, I wanted to show how I use this indicator in combination with some of the other MMT indicators. And this indicator works on the free version of NinjaTrader. You do not need the lifetime NinjaTrader or Order Flow Plus or anything like that. I built in and made a complete order flow footprint chart within the indicator that it's getting all of its information from, and it works on the free version of NinjaTrader. I've also got the MMT key levels indicator on the chart, the ultimate VWAP. I'm using the trend and reversal with an ADX as an input for the candles. And the trend and reversal is also printing divergence with these blue and pink triangles. See, we got some nice divergence down here. ADX momentum turned bullish. We got the blue candles, nice pop up. So for this indicator, since it's scanning so many different imbalances, I like to keep the days loaded to a bare minimum. I've got 3 days loaded on this 1 minute chart here. I would also highly recommend only using this indicator on one chart in your workspace. It's scanning a lot of information, and I've had no issues at all just using it on my single 1 minute chart, but I can't make any guarantees if you're using it on smaller time frames or across multiple charts. In all the market conditions that I've tested this so far, it's been working great. Time will tell if it holds up in extreme volatility. I've had no issues on the 1 minute chart for the times I've been trading it in the live markets, and also for any playback testing that I've done. But it is something to consider if you're exclusively looking to only use this on like a 15-second chart or some very small Renko charts. It might not be the best option for that. So here is the MMT polarity indicator. I've got two types of signals. I've got the imbalance signals and I've got the washout signals. You can turn both of these signals on or off. You can change the imbalance amount that it's looking for. I've got a default setting of 1.5, but if you want it to measure stronger imbalances, you can bump this up to a 2 or a 2.5 or a 3. For the imbalance signals, it is looking for stacked imbalances in either the wick of the candle or the body of the candle, or both. If you want it to look for stacked imbalances in both the wick and the body, leave these both checked. You can choose the minimum amount of stacked imbalances to look for. So if you want to get more signals, you could change this to a 1 and a 2. If you want to see less signals, you can make these numbers higher. So as it's set now, it will not print a signal unless there are at least 2 stacked imbalances in the wick and also 3 stacked imbalances in the body. And then I can show the exact number of stacked imbalances for both the body and the wick. I can change the colors. And then for the washout signals, I can turn these on or off. For the washout signals, I have an option to calculate these on the bar close if you're just getting too many of them. I personally like to see more signals than less, but I am never just entering a trade just because a signal appears on my chart. I'm factoring in a lot of different things. There's no magic indicator that's going to make anyone a better trader instantly overnight. There's no substitute for actually learning how to trade. So just keep that in mind. I've got a bunch of different settings for the washout signals. The default settings that come with the indicator are what I'm currently using, and these are the same signals that are appearing on this chart. If you wanted to see less signals, you could bump these numbers up. You can change the color of the arrows. You can show the washout number. All of these offsets, these are my preferred offsets for the NQ chart. If you're using this on a ES chart, you might want to lower all of these offsets a little bit. So that's the entirety of the indicator. I've purposely kept it very simple. I used to trade the order flow and footprint charts for many years, and I've come to just prefer looking at the delta per candle and using a much simpler setup, as outlined in all of the many videos on my channel, where I show how I'm trading every day using delta, key levels, support and resistance, price action, volume, volatility. However, these were some of my favorite kind of signals from back when I used to trade off of the footprint charts. So I've taken the best of that world and made it easily accessible on the regular candlestick charts. So now let's take a look on how you could trade this with the MMT chart trader indicator to get into these imbalance trades immediately as they're happening. Live in real time, intrabar, as soon as one of these imbalances occurs. So let me show you how the chart trader buttons are able to get me into a trade when I've got an imbalance signal appear. I've got washout imbalance signals, and I've got regular imbalance signals. I've also got some divergence based on the ADX. There's some pink and blue triangles that appear when I've got some ADX divergence. So I've got this in pending mode. You can see I've got a toggle here. Just make sure it's in pending. Got the market about to open here. Just looking at my key levels, and I see I've got VWAP up here, pre-market low, and the pivot point down here. So I'm just going to kind of wait and see what happens right at the open. If we come up to VWAP, I might look for a short off of VWAP. And if we come down to the pre-market low or the pivot point, I might look for a long off of one of those areas. Looks like we're getting a move up to VWAP, so I'm going to put a pending sell in. You can see the button color changes dark red. So it's just waiting for a short signal to appear. If there's already one on the chart, it's not going to get in right away. It's going to wait till the next short signal appears. So there's our signal. We got put into the trade immediately. If I want to move my take profit and stop around, I could move my take profit down. I could add another pending sell order. So if we get another sell order, it will add in another position right into the current ATM. There's our second signal that just appeared. We got put into another position. Then we just got our take profit, came right down to the 250 SMA. So these chart trader buttons are simple and effective. They're super quick. So now we're coming down, we're breaking below pre-market low. So I'm gonna kind of wait. We've had a bunch of washout signals and imbalance signals to the downside so far. But if we start coming down a little bit further towards the pivot point, put a pending buy order in. I'm looking to trade off of key levels or to key levels. So when I got this short off of the VWAP bounce, I wanted to make sure I got out right before this cluster of key levels with the 20 SMA and the 250 SMA. Right now the Heikin-Ashi background is red. Background is being painted by the MMT Ultimate Heikin-Ashi. Just got another imbalance signal short. Now we're getting a drop. I'm going to put a pending buy order in now, so we're approaching the pivot point. So if we get a long signal, we just came down to the 50 level too, which I consider to be a key level. 50 level and whole number. There's our washout signal long. So I've got my stop below the pivot. I'm going to put another pending buy order in. There's our ADX divergence and another washout signal. So I got my take profit above pre-market low. I want to move it right below pre-market low in case we get a hold up at that key level. We got the bullish ADX with this blue candle here. We had divergence. We had a couple washout signals. You'll notice we got two signals, but when I put a pending order in, it just fires off one single order and then it resets. So if you want to put another pending order in, you have to press the button again, so it only fires once. And if I had used this to get into a trade and I just wanted to manually add some more positions in, I could switch to market mode and just start hitting buy or sell. I can manually close out as well at any time. So these can be some potentially helpful tools. The MMT Polarity Indicator is available now. So is the Chart Trader. There are links in the description. If you have any questions, please leave a comment below. I do not get any kind of notifications on the WAP store if I get a question on the WAP store. So unfortunately, most of those questions go unanswered as I just never actually see them. I've tried to get them to hide that option so no one tries to contact me there, but so far they've been unable to do that. The best way to ask a question is just directly on the YouTube channel here in the comments section. I appreciate you taking the time to tune in. Anyone that's out there using code MonkeyMan is absolutely amazing. Apex still has their 90% off sale with the heavily discounted lifetime PA fees going on all weekend long. Take Profit Trader still has 40% off and no activation fee. I wish you best of luck in your trading. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.